Was your value of each possession as good this game as it has been any of the season?
I'm sorry.
Your value of each possession, you're maximizing each possession probably as good as it was at any time this season?
God, you know, you guys keep asking me to look backwards, and I don't have a rearview mirror. You know, I don't know whether it was or not. I thought we did a pretty good job, but we've been trying to be, you know, around 10 turnovers, no more than that. We had 11 today, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
You talked going into the game about their shooters and how they score and how they're probably one of the better shooting teams in the league. What was the key tonight to, you know, to kind of clamping that down a little bit?
You know, we tried to run them off the line. We didn't do a very good job early. Yeah, it's hard to come out of pressure and find, you know, and find people. But I thought we did a better job as the game wore on. We gave some at the end, but you know, it's hard when you end up with your power forward on a point guard a lot of times, and you know, your point guard on a center and all that. You know, we gotta try to. That's why we got to have ball pressure and make them scramble a little bit so we can get back to the guys that we're supposed to be guarding.
It seemed like you probably drove the ball at the basket as much as you had this year. I know that's the accepted tactic against shot blockers. Was that the reason for emphasizing that, or something else?
I thought it gave us the best chance to win. I think, you know, the way the game's being called, it's hard to guard the ball. And so we tried to kind of revamp some things and keep them spread and try to be able to get guys to the basket.
You mentioned a couple weeks ago Jay Sean was probably your best driver. Are other guys showing the improvement that you want in that area?
I think Dax could be if we'd get him to quit shooting jump shots every time. I think he can get it at the basket. JC gets it at the basket. You know, I think as Issa continues to improve, he'll be able to get it at the basket. We did a very good job screening for him. They're supposed to be screening for him, but I think Devin wanted to stay a little closer where he could make sure that we had a chance to rebound whatever miss, and you know, we put John and Nate out in the corner, and they've shot it really well in practice. They just, you know, I think one of these games they'll start to make some shots, and then we'll really be able to get people spread.
Bobby, you guys did a better job keeping the ball away from Ellis toward the end there. Does that change? You guys just do better at it?
We did a better job, and they stopped trying to ISO him this much. We had better pressure on the ball, Mike. We didn't have any pressure on the ball when they ISO'd him early in the half.
Probably kind of after the game, saw you hug Devin, kind of a little back and forth slow dance while Country Roads was playing. What was that moment like, and just the whole aftermath? You know, the court storming and the emotions right after it went final.
Well, let me start by saying, for 12,000 people to show up here on this night, it's unbelievable. I mean, that's fighting through some things. I know there were people still coming in the second half, and I know it's hard for you guys to get here. It's hard for me to get here, but it's been very easy for people just to go watch it on TV, and very appreciative of those 12,000. I think we had maybe 1,000 people that didn't make it. I think there were over 13,000 tickets sold, and the students were great. The PRT broke down. We had a bunch of them walk from downtown. And to my recollection, that's never happened. I don't know. You know, they take what is it, Mess? $3 and what out of our check every week for the city. You know, to be able to take things like this, they they could take my $3 and maybe get some salt. You know, I think that'd help. You know, honestly, we got to do a better job. I mean, everybody knew it was coming. I mean, why aren't we a little better prepared for it? But for those people, I think it was terrific. And this is kind of what, you know, in recruiting Devin, you know, I told, you know, I tried to sell him on the fact of what a great place it is, how great the people are, how much he's going to enjoy his time here, and the fact that he can be, if not the integral part of what we do, certainly one of the integral parts of what we do, and he has been. And you know, when his freshman year, when things didn't go as planned, he stayed the course, and so I'm very appreciative of, you know, Devin believing in us and really believing in me, you know, that we would be able to get this thing back on track to where, you know, I think we all think where West Virginia basketball ought to be.
What did you see Jay Sean when you recruited him? How much is his game grown?
Well, it's grown a lot. I mean, Jay Sean came in here I'm thinking he was a three-point shooter, and you know, and I and Larry and Ronnie and Eric and everybody is like, man, you got to start to drive the ball. You're our best athlete. He's got great athleticism. He's got great strength. He can absorb contact at the rim, and we just, you know, we kept kind of pounding on him to get it at the rim, get it at the rim, get it at the rim, and he's, I think, as good a finisher as there is probably in our league, or he's certainly one of the best. And guys, let me say this: I mean, we beat a heck of a basketball team today. Now, I mean, they're number one in the country for a reason. They're good. I mean, they're really good. Perry Ellis is playing as well as anybody in the country. And they surround them with guys who can make shots, and they just keep coming at you. I mean, when you can bring two McDonald's All-Americans off the bench, you're pretty good, you know. And I thought our bench did a great job. I think we scored 40 points. Our bench scored 40 points for us. So I think it was 40-10. But, you know, Bill does a great job with those guys. I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Fame guy, and it's just, you know, this league is the hardest league that West Virginia basketball has ever been in and ever will be in, I think. You know, we played number one today, and then we got to go play number two on Saturday, and Texas is beating Iowa State right now. You know, I mean, it's just every game is. Holly Rose said to Devin and I, said, you know, you're 4-0 in the league, you know, how about like winning the league championship? I said, Holly, now you do understand there's 14 more games to play in the league. 14 more hard games. So.
Kansas is a team that usually doesn't get flustered. Did you get a sense that there was at least a little bit of some of that?
Well, it's kind of like I've given you the analogy. You walk out of your hotel room and somebody gets in your face and just stays in your face for about 4 or 5 blocks, and you say, "Get the hell away from me," and the guy won't leave. He just keeps staying in your face. And after a while, it starts to bother you, you know. And I think that's what it is. It's certainly a cumulative effect. They're good, man. I mean, they're good. They've got a bunch of guys can handle the ball. They're extremely well coached. He did great stuff against us. You know, it's just, and we didn't turn them over in you know, in bunches like we have a lot of people. But it's just it continues to wear on you, you know, as the game goes on.
If it works against a team as poised as that, though, can it work against anybody?
I don't know if it can work against anybody. It didn't work very well against Virginia in the second half, but I don't, man. I mean, sometimes we get to the ball better than we do other times, you know. I thought the game was officiated. I mean, I would like to watch basketball played like that if I'm a fan. I mean, I thought that's the way the game ought to be officiated. It wasn't a stoppage every time down the floor. You know, I thought they did a great job of what's the word, adjudicating the game. If y'all need to spell, I can spell it for you. If some of you guys probably do need me to spell it for you, but. I thought they did a great job adjudicating the game.
JC's defense on Frank Mason, pretty tight.
Man, we've been on him because we thought, you know, a year ago he was first team all Big 12. on the defensive team, and we kind of been on him to start guarding again, you know, because he kind of. I mean, we all did. I mean, they all got to where, you know, you're so conscious of not getting in foul trouble because it's like bang, 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 you know. And I loved it today. I thought it was.
What does the victory of this magnitude at home mean for the players in the locker room?
Means they get a day off, and then we go back to work on Thursday, and Friday we get on a plane and go to Norman and play the second-ranked team in the country who took these guys to, what was it, double overtime in Lawrence. That's what it means. We don't, you know, I told them after the Virginia game, you know, I wasn't very happy, but, you know, we can't get too low, we can't get too high. Nothing's ever as good as you think it is, and nothing's ever as bad as you think it is. So we've got to continue on an even keel, and we got to come in and have 2 good days. We had 2 really good days of practice. We've got to come in and have 2 really good days of practice to get ready to go play a great team with another great coach. Great coach. Not good, he's great. Bill Self's a great coach. Lon Kruger's a great coach. You know, so it doesn't get any easier.
When you see this outcome tonight and how you played and maybe how they played, do you look at it even further of, hey, this thing is wide open this year?
I don't know. You know what, Jeff? When you look at this, we shot 33%. Now we didn't turn it over the way we've been turning it over, but we shot 33% and you know, kind of had control of the game for the majority of it. And I mean, it just shows that you don't always have to make shots. I mean, eventually you have to make some shots, but you can do some other things. You can try to turn people over. You can offensive rebound it. I mean, you got to get more possessions. You got to get more possessions than what other people have when you don't shoot it very well. That's a fact. And again, guys, they're good now. I mean, this isn't going to happen to them very often, if ever again. You know, they're good.
The crowd seemed pretty vocal early on, but did you guys get a sense of it filling up and building up as the fans continue to make their way in throughout the game?
I have a hard time looking up there and looking around like that. I'm trying to figure out how we can score, you know. I'm kind of been the offensive coordinator here of late, you know. Larry's done a great job with the defense, so I thought I could maybe help best if I tried to figure out ways to score. I didn't see anybody up there could help us, if that's what you ask. I'm just joking with you. You ask me questions that I can, you know, kind of make light of sometimes. So, which is good. That's good. I need that.